Hey there guys, what is going on? Evo here, and I have played the PTB and I've been asked my thoughts on it, so I thought I would just make a video going in depth what I thought of it, and just basically crack down on some things that they need to fix or that the PTB actually did well. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first change they were doing was the Blood Web. I used it. The Blood Web worked like 90% of the time. There was like a 10% of the time that didn't work completely well. But all in all, I think the Blood Web works fine and is a pretty good change that is coming. I'm really excited to be able to use it. In fact, right now on my Dead by Daylight account, I have like 2 million blood points that I can't wait to spend into the auto spending feature. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this Blood Web change. It works an absolute charm. I love being able to go, okay, there's a Survivor Pudding now. I'm going to click the Survivor Pudding, and then it buys the Survivor Pudding, and then I just click the center, and it buys whatever, because really all I care about in it is Survivor Puddings. I don't really care about add-ons or really any other offering or perks. I mean, at this point, it's just look for blood point add-ons and hope for the best. But the second change that was really, really interesting, we'll go over the healing later because the healing's a whole topic in and of itself. Let's go over some of the changes that happened to Killer. I think all the changes were fine. The only one I really didn't like was Hillbillies. I think the fact that they nerfed his 2 engraving add-ons is just horrible. Why would you mess with Doom engravings? They were fine. And I think this show's behavior is missing the mark entirely. I don't get why you're nerfing brown add-ons, first of all, that aren't really that strong to begin with, when Blight has, like, Alchemist Ring that can just absolutely shred people in a game. It really doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know who's in charge of add-on reworks, but yeah, they need to be looked at and reconsidered, because, wow. There is some really bad stuff happening in that department of the job. Oni's add-ons, fine. Pig, fine. The only thing with Pig is there was a little bit of a bug where when you ran the add-on, you couldn't crouch. And I absolutely hated that, but, you know, it is what it is. If they fix that, then it's fine. Now we get into the interesting bit, which was the healing changes. Now, this is a very controversial topic. I've heard some people say it is okay. I've heard some people say it's not too bad. And I've heard some people say it's the worst thing to happen in Dead by Daylight's history. So, my thoughts on it. Let's go over the perk changes first really quick. Because I realized that Boon Circle of Healing is a perk change. So let's start there. Boon Circle of Healing. I think the perk went from amazing to absolutely god-awful. But I think it is going to be useful in the long run. I think Boon Circle of Healing is okay. I don't think they went too hard on the nerf because you can still find your teammates and heal them, which is useful. Especially if you have one person in the group running a healing build. They can instantly go, where are you? And then just not have to ask it. They see you. I really like this idea. I think it's a really cool idea. And if you have multiple people running boons, it can be really, really useful because that means that you'll see basically where the killer is at all times if they're chasing someone in a boon. So very, very useful. I think it's just kind of okay now. It used to be insane and now it's just okay, but it still works, which is nice. And I do think it serves boons right because what boons are is they were advertising it as a survivor's hex totem. But hex totems can be cleansed and can't be rekindled unless Pentimento, but Pentimento doesn't really rekindle it. It's its own kind of thing. But boons, you can just replace them whenever you want. Like, killers cannot destroy a boon forever, so it kind of is like, okay, well, killers are shit out of luck if they have these super powered boons that can just pretty much do anything. And yeah, I think Boon Circle of Healing change, absolutely fine. Dead Hard change, this was controversial. I think Dead Hard change is actually better than Dead Hard's ever been, including survivors. I think for Survivor, it's better than it's ever been. For Killer, it's better than it's ever been. I think this is a very positive change. Now, what they did to Dead Hard is basically you don't get dead hard anymore when you're injured. You have to be injured and unhook another survivor. So if you unhook another survivor dead hard, you can activate it. And that is good because killers don't expect it as often as it is. It gives other exhaustion perks time to shine. I know I personally really like Sprint Burst and Lithe as exhaustion perks, and Balanced Landing is also really cool. And it gives those perks a real time to shine, and will make Vigil. Vigil is a Quentin perk that when people are nearby, you basically get the exhaustion status effect off quicker. That's going to be pretty useful now. I can see that being more useful than when Dead Hard was absolutely insane. It also means that for killer, you get downs quicker and easier without having 30-minute chases and nothing happening. So I think it's good for a pressure stance. I think it's good for a pressure stance with survivors because killers will fall for it more. And yeah, overall, I think it's a really, really nice change. Now, the pain resonance change. I've heard some things about this, but I think that we need to have a time in Dead by Daylight when multiple playstyles are okay. You can have Gen Kick playstyle and you can have, multiple metas. I don't think it's a bad idea. And honestly, I gotta say the pain res change isn't horrible. It's not bad, but it makes the perk a lot worse, which is kind of sad. But it still is doable and it still is a okay perk. It's not going to be meta, really, and I think it's a lot less viable because there's only 4 Scourge hooks. If it would be after any hook, I think it would be a lot more useful. And yeah, it's really kind of just up in the air right now with what's going to happen with that and how good it's going to be on release of the actual, launch. Then we have the Colubrine and Overcharge basically just got nerfed into the water. Colubrine's going to be absolute god-awful, and so is Overcharge. They're not going to be worth running, and the best slowdown perk, I'm sorry to say, is Jolt and Sloppy Butcher right now, which I don't mind. I think Jolt is a really interesting one to explore, and I do like the idea of Sloppy Butcher actually having some slowdown effect, and not being able to just, people just heal like this. Even with Sloppy Butcher, they're just healing instantly. I like that idea, and I think it's a positive idea. But once again, we're going to get into the healing changes right now. Medkit healing change. Okay, so they reduced the speed at which you heal. However, they also reduced how many times you're allowed to heal. So the healing honestly feels really slow. I think you make it an okay heal with a medkit. I think faster heal is fine. The issue I have with the healing, maybe make it a 10-second heal with a medkit, or even, because of add-ons, maybe make it a 13-second heal or 14. I don't think that's too much. I think where the issue stands is the speed. I think getting the speed of the medkit down is not a bad thing as long as it's only 1 heal or 1.5 heals. I think having 2, 3, 4 heals out of 1 medkit is insane and absolutely crazy because we have perks, we have medkits, we have everything to do healing. I think getting multiple heals out of a medkit's just absolutely out of the question because if everybody has a 2 heal medkit in 6 seconds, it gets really, really bad. And that's how it's been for a really long time in the game. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5 heals out of a medkit, and that is not a good thing. The syringe, it's okay. Nothing really happened to it, in my opinion. And I have heard a couple of people saying, why would they kind of made altruistic healing really bad. So medkit healing someone else, I think, needs to be quicker and more efficient. So I think if you use a medkit on someone else, maybe you get 2 heals out of it if you're only using it on someone else. Maybe it goes down slower or whatever. I think it's better that you're healing someone else, and I think that needs to be promoted. Maybe give also a 10% speed bonus if you're healing someone else. I don't know, something just to give it a little bit better of you want to heal other people. I think it's a good thing to encourage teamwork, especially with all the new icons in the game on your HUD. I think it is not too much to encourage teamwork. And that would make Hit and Run a lot more team-based, where they need their team. It would also buff Legion, because people would be together healing, and Legion kind of thrives from people being all in one spot. So I think it's a much needed change. And I think the different rarities you could give more to altruistic based on it, which isn't bad. I think the amount of time it takes to heal is absolutely crazy. Self-care, absolutely dog water perk right now. It is horrible. You need to make self-care a decent perk. Self-care needs to be a perk that a new player can run, use well, and it actually works for them. Self-care has been nerfed for way too long. I would love to see self-care a bigger part of the game, honestly. I think having self-care would not be too much and would encourage new players to be like, hey, here's a little bit of an easier time with healing. Here's a little bit of an easier time here. And they already have Prove Thyself, which is helping them with gens exponentially. So why not give them self-care a little bit buffed, but, you know, make Sloppy Butcher a little bit stronger. Maybe give something like that so new killers have a chance with Sloppy Butcher and new survivors have a chance with self-care, and it kind of evens out. I think that would be fine. I also think that the way healing is now, make it a little weaker. Healing is too crazy. With how long it takes to heal currently, it is absolutely outrageous. Make it less, but make a Sloppy Butcher more strong, so that way if you're a killer that wants to run hit and run, you put Sloppy Butcher on, and it's going to make it a really hard time for survivors. So that way, at least, instead of having no perk slot used and you can hit and run and go insane, you have to use a perk slot to use that play style of, you know, anti-heal. I think that's completely a fine change if you buff Sloppy Butcher, but make it a little easier to heal in base game. I think that's fine. And yeah. That's pretty much my thoughts. I really like anti-heal builds, and so this whole anti-heal meta was kind of insane. It kind of came out of nowhere, like out of left field a little bit, but I think it can work. I think they need to refine their method a little bit with it, but it can work, and that is the most exciting thing is if it does work, it's going to be amazing, and I think we all want this to succeed. We all want, you know, a little easier time for killers and a little bit crazier time for survivors, more chases, more hiding, more, you know, tense moments in the game, and this is going to bring you those tense moments a lot more, and a lot more game-changing things are probably around the corner. I think add this kind of healing change in, but put Base Kit in Breakable and the Mori system, and it would totally work. Nobody would complain either, because that would make slugging an absolute not really that good to do. Unless there's like two people, whatever, you know. But I think slugging wouldn't be as powerful as it is right now. Oni would also not be as crazy as he is right now. And yeah, I love the idea of Oni going back to being one of the best, Wraith being a really good killer now, and Onryo being an absolutely insane killer as well. I think it's all positive changes. I did play a lot of the PTB and won every game of my killer. I literally didn't lose a single game with my anti-heal build. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you all on stream tonight, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace out and have a great rest of everyone's day. Bye, guys.